Hey guys, welcome back to the Ape Escape commentary.
Well, look who's here. So you finally found us.
Spectre. Jake.
And how is everything coming along?
Everything is under control and coming along very nicely according to plan.
Very good. Then let's get going.
Right.
Hold on. You're not going anywhere.
Oh, yes, we are. I don't have time to bother with you right now. Oh, but we will. We will meet again. You just wait. You won't even know what hit you.
Another time, another place. You'll have your chance.
Sorry for the cutscene there, but needed to explain why you're not getting to fight Spectre in the level where it says the objective is to catch Spectre. So, welcome to the first real boss fight of Ape Escape. So late in the game, but better late than never, right? The original Ape Escape is not known for its boss fights. It has very few of them, and all of them are towards the later, like the later half of the game, I guess you could say. We're still technically in the Medieval Mayhem era. I know we're in part 5, so... But there's still... At least, there's still more to go. This isn't the end of the game. Not by a long shot. We'll just put it that way. So, anyway, this boss, which I don't know the name of, but I think it's called Big Knight. I think I might have read that somewhere. And it certainly is a big knight-looking character. There was an enemy we defeated in the last part in this level that was a smaller version, but was gray armor instead of purple armor, and didn't have this whole gimmick where he can make himself get lightning, like he can conduct lightning, and then he'll do an attack where he slams down his axe, unleashing the electricity, and that's when you're able to hit him. If you try to hit him while he's electrified, you're just gonna get yourself hurt. So it can kind of drag out this boss fight. This boss fight isn't very good, honestly, but you have to hit him like 5 or 6 times or something crazy like that. And there is no real way to speed this up. And believe me, I've tried to look into that in the 20 or so years I've been playing this game. So anyway, that's that boss battle. There's going to be some more cutscenes coming up. Let's see what we're dealing with. Oh, well, this is rather odd.
Hey, wait a minute. What's going on here? Hey!
It's a UFO! No! Get inside!
Whoa! Please help me!
Spike, listen, I have a message from the professor.
Let's hear it.
Understood.
Spike, I'm sure you've seen the strange things going on outside. While you were gone, Spectre and his gang of apes swept in and have taken over the town. The entire town is running scared. Everything's been turned upside down. It's a mess and we need your help. Here, take a look. Spectre's built his base right in the middle of town. The apes are everywhere. His army is getting stronger and more dangerous. You're the only one who can save us all. You've got the gadgets, now go use them. Time is running out. We're counting on you.
Hey, wait a minute, what are you doing?
Hold on,
Let go
stop.
of me!
Well, isn't this a fine mess we've gotten ourselves into? The monkeys have invaded the present time of 1999. Anyway, yeah, the next set of levels is going to take place in the present time, and it's called Futurama for some reason. I wonder if they intentionally named it after the show, because that was new.
I've just finished evaluating the new gadget for the professor, and we've sent it over to you. You'll find it in the training room. As the professor's already told you, if you don't complete the training, you can't advance to the next area. Good luck!
And this is the second to last gadget, the last one you get before the post game, the RC car. I don't mind it too much. I find that it's a pretty interesting choice of a gadget, but you're not gonna really use it all that much, believe it or not. It's useful for getting monkeys that are behind a gate, and you need to push the RC car underneath. But anyway, cutscene.
Spike, something has gone terribly wrong. The professor and Natalie are nowhere to be found. The laboratory has been ransacked, and much of the equipment has been destroyed. The apes were here, and I believe they've taken the professor and Natalie away with them. You're now being transported to Spectre's base area. His exact location is unknown. All I can tell you at this time is that his base is an old factory building located in the middle of town somewhere. Spectre's taken it over and is now using it to manufacture weapons. But first, before you head over to the base, find the energy storehouse. The energy storehouse is the heart of Spectre's factory. By destroying this, he'll shut down all the power to his base. The energy storehouse is hidden somewhere within a nearby park. Please hurry! The professor and Natalie may be in great danger. One more thing. The base has a heavy and very powerful security system that will not be affected by the power shutdown. So be careful.
So now, on top of trying to capture Spectre, we also have to worry about rescuing the Professor and Natalie. Oh, and Jake. Let's not forget about Jake. He's still under the mind control of Spectre, so yeah, that might be a good thing to bring up, game. Anyways, the first level of Futurama, I cannot say that without thinking of the TV show, seriously, although it's a really good show that you should look up when you get the chance. Particularly the first few seasons are objectively better than the last few seasons that they did, because it was kind of a weird... Maybe I'll talk about it more in this part. By the way, the goal is that we're trying to reach something called the TV Tower, and that's where Spectre is, but that's not going to happen until the next part. The next 3 parts are essentially going to be like a finale trilogy, and you're probably thinking, wow, that must be a lot of levels. Not as many as you would think. Let me put it that way. Not as many as you would think. Actually, we're only doing 2 levels in this part. As a matter of fact, every level in Futurama is pretty beefy, to say the least. In fact, look how many monkeys we have to capture in this first one. 8 of them? Yeah, that's a lot. Also, we got this robot mini-boss here. There's going to be a slightly higher frequency of mini-bosses, too. Not that we haven't had them previously. I mean, we had the knight in the crumbling... not the big knight. The big knight was an actual boss. I'm talking about the little knight that we fought last part. That's a mini-boss. I guess those things inside of Dexter, the tendrils, could be kind of considered mini-bosses, except they're really obnoxiously easy and don't really require a strategy. So, I don't know about that, honestly. But, yeah, we got a lot of apes to capture here in City Park, and there's only one more level we're going to do after this. I don't think the music track for City Park, what we're listening to now, isn't the real music track. There is no music playing now. This is intentional to build the atmosphere. The real meat of this level is actually in the sewer, and that music track is great, but I don't think it's good enough to justify a moment of silence for. I'll save that for the second, not really, well, the bulk of the next level, I should say. It's another level where you'll have an opening bit that's a very small chunk of the level, and then you'll have the real meat of the level where it's where it has the real music track, as it were. Anyways, the RC car, because I was interrupted by a cutscene in the tutorial of all things. The RC car, you use it to go underneath small holes, and you can capture, well, you can make monkeys run away from it, hopefully into the hole, right into your net. Now, the execution, the concept is cool, but the execution can be a little wonky, because, you know, the apes have a unique AI to them. Sometimes they'll try to attack the RC car. They'll almost always run away from it, but say you're trying to bait a monkey that has a weapon, like a laser, or an Uzi, or bombs, or a missile backpack, missile launching backpack. Yeah, that's when things get really messy with the RC car. Also, you get it so late in the game that the amount of monkeys required to capture with the RC car is very small. Almost criminally small. Yes, there are a few sections in the previous levels where you need the RC car to capture a monkey. I want to say off the top of my head there are 3 of these in previous levels that you obviously aren't going to be able to do until the post-game. Technically, on the note of the post-game, technically you can go back to previous stages every time you get a new gadget and get the monkeys that way, but there is one gadget you don't get until the post-game. So logically, the best thing to do would be to wait until you have that post-game gadget and then go back to the levels like the game wants you to. Because there are a couple of special containers that have monkey faces on them that can only be destroyed with this special post-game gadget, as it were. But anyway, City Park is a pretty good level, but it has some parts that might be a little hard to connect. I didn't really get to show it off here, but I would tell you to look up my long play to see all of the inner machinations of the City Park sewer and how it connects to the actual City Park. Because some of those monkeys are pretty hard to keep track of, to be sure. Anyway, Spectre's Factory, the part we're about to start with doesn't really have a very exciting music track. It's a music track we actually heard in a cutscene earlier, so it's just one of those more minor tracks. Still a good track. Every music track in Ape Escape is gold. Also, we have one less monkey to catch. Kind of weird, but I guess you might call it the calm before the storm. Oh boy, yeah, the next 3 parts are gonna be quite the ride for sure. But anyway, this is the tank. Believe it or not, it controls like tank controls. You use both sticks. You have to push both sticks forward to move. You move them back to move backwards, and you have to adjust the sticks to turn the tank accordingly. Oh, I was so close to capture that monkey with the net. Best thing to try and do is to shoot either an explosive pellet or the big turret gun rather than the machine gun to stun a monkey, because it'll stun them for a pretty long period of time. But thankfully the tank can make quick work of the UFO, and the tank can take a lot of abuse, so that's handy. But yeah, Spectre's Factory is a pretty cool level, and the tank is honestly pretty great. This won't be the last time we see the tank, though. We'll see it at least one more time. I think actually in the TV tower that we're gonna start with in the next part, so that'll be interesting to see. Also, those spinning top enemies can only be killed with the tank for now. The post-game gadget you get will let you kill them too, but they are immune. Well, they're immune to the stun club while they're spinning, but they can stop in place. And when they're not spinning around and not laying down on the floor, you can kill them with the stun club. But best thing to do is also, that's how you're supposed to catch the monkey. If the monkey went into the pad, it would have come back. It would have like went into a mech of some sort, and you would have had to fight the mech. So it would have been another mini boss. There's still going to be a couple of mini bosses where the apes are controlling mechas in this level, though. And for the most part, this stage is actually surprisingly linear. Like, I think maybe you could have skipped one of those monkeys in the opening section, but no, because I think you need to capture 3 monkeys to unlock the next section of the level, and we're about to capture the 3rd monkey in this section, which is a pretty good showcase of the RC car, at least. So, that's good. Funny thing is, in the TV tower, I don't remember if there was an RC car section. I'm pretty sure there isn't, but I guess we'll find out in the next part either way. Yeah, there's this RC car section, which I think is pretty cool. At the end of it, you have to face off with a green pants monkey, if I'm not mistaken. So, watch out for that. Outside of these puzzles, you can use the RC car normally, but it is a bit unwieldy to try and move Spike and the RC car at the same time. But you can use it to stun the monkey and or bait out the missiles. So, doesn't hurt if you have really good coordination about that sort of thing. My coordination's pretty decent, but in general, I really only use the RC car for the puzzles, which is fine. Find it interesting I decided to replace the stun club for a brief minute. Wow. I actually betrayed my usual gadget order, or my usual gadget setup, I guess? Yeah, gadget setup, button setup, whatever you want to call it, yeah. I actually betrayed that, interestingly enough, so. After you capture the only 3 monkeys you can capture, we're going to go into this section that has a lot of lava. And you know what they say.
Professor, lava, hot!
So, yeah, there's that whole thing. But, and this is a section where the stun club is absolutely necessary. You need to use the stun club to rotate all of these cogs. You've had to do this a couple times by now, with a bunch of other objects and other levels. It's worth noting that the post-game gadget is kind of an upgrade to the stun club, but it's also not as good with the whole rotation thing. So as a result, you may still find use for the stun club even after you get the superior combat gadget in the post-game. Interestingly enough to note. Also, am I the only one that gets like really bad Ratchet and Clank vibes whenever I go through this level in particular? That's another PlayStation series I love a lot, by the way. So, if I ever do a commentary for that, do not be surprised. Anyways, I'm overdue for this, but I'm gonna go ahead and be silent for a little bit so we can hear the music. And, you know, water break and everything, so enjoy the music. Oh, you cheeky monkey, you! Anyway, this is the mini-boss that I was alluding to earlier. You fight 2 of these in Spectre's Factory, I'm pretty sure. You just basically bait them into one of the walls of boxes laying around, and then you hit the Met in the back with the stun club, ideally. You could try to use the explosive pellet with the slingback shooter, but you might not have enough of an opening to do something like that. So, just use the stun club for safety's sake, I would say. And then we come to more lava. Well, we already know how I feel about lava, so yeah. Lava hot. Lava is indeed very hot. There's actually another section coming up right around here. Well, I don't really show it off. There's like a false wall there that also cannot be destroyed with anything but the post-game gadget. So besides those special containers with monkey faces on them, there's also going to be some fake walls. I think there might only be 1 or 2 of these throughout the levels that do require you to have that special gadget. in order to be able to capture the monkeys laying behind them, or that are hiding behind them. There's also this very well hidden monkey that I actually decided to show off, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, sometimes you'd be surprised. I remember on my first playthrough of Ape Escape, I spent a long time in the post game looking for the monkeys that I missed, and I was mind blown, particularly with thick jungle, actually. So I believe this is the final room, or the next to last room of Spectre's factory, and I only have one monkey left to catch. So if you keep going up, you will fight another one of those mechas. I forget if I just capture one of the regular monkeys laying around or if I fight the mech. You would think that I would go for the faster option, which is just to capture this monkey over here. We don't need to see the same mini-boss twice, so hope you guys enjoyed this part. This was the calm before the storm. The next 3 parts are going to get intense, so get ready for that. Hello everybody, and welcome back to the start of the epic finale trilogy for the Ape Escape commentary / Let's Play. This will be the first of 3 parts, and in this part, we're kicking things off with the last level of Futurama. I said last level, not last episode. Not based on the Futurama TV show, although that comes highly recommended, courtesy of your friend Leslie. Yeah, I didn't really get a chance to talk much about Futurama the last time, but we might have a chance to talk more about that later on. For now, though, I would like to lay out. This first part is going to be the TV tower, as well as a little bit of the actual final level. The next part is going to be pretty much the rest of the final level, and then the very last part is like basically the final boss, the post-game, and then the second final boss, which, if you've been following the plot of this game so far, you should know who the final boss is. I shouldn't have to say it. So with all of that stuff out of the way, I would like you to sit down, get some chips, maybe a bottle of water, because for the next hour and change, we're going to be finishing this game, and we're going to try and finish it off to the best of my abilities, which have only grown better with time, I would hope. Such is the way of human evolution, as they call it. And you know, they say that we did evolve from apes, so that kind of discussion is not completely without relevance. Or something like that, I don't know. But anyway, welcome to TV Tower. If you were keen-eyed, you may have noticed there was another one of those containers with a monkey face on them at the start of the level. Keep that location in mind when we get to the post-game and the whole montage that will be associated with that, because that's gonna go by in the blink of an eye if you can believe it. At any rate, TV Tower actually has less monkeys to catch in terms of quantity compared to Crumbling Castle. Indeed, if you go from Crumbling Castle to TV Tower, you might feel like it's a bit of a decline in terms of the amount of depth that this level has. That's not to say it's a simple level, mind you, but it does seem like there's less layers to have to explore versus Crumbling Castle. And while I don't necessarily dislike the music track here, I feel it's a bit too calm, and, you know, it's a calm music track for what's supposed to be another level where you have to capture Spectre, right? Whereas Crumbling Castle had just the right amount of intensity. It can be assumed that the reason that the composer did the music like this is because the first time you go to Crumbling Castle, it's the first time where the mission objective is to catch Spectre versus capturing more monkeys. So they probably expect the player to be like, oh, this may very well be the final conflict with Spectre. It might. I mean, it'd be kind of random to do it in the medieval era, sure. But it might. Second time around, though, the player is probably going to be like, well, this might not be the final encounter. And indeed, the music track definitely doesn't really imply it. If TV Tower were the final level, it would kind of be a little bit on the disappointing side, I would have to agree with. But it is not. There is one more level after this. And boy howdy, let me tell you, it is a whopper. It's so much of a whopper that it kind of brings out a little bit of a southern accent in me when I usually don't have one of those, despite being born and raised in the South. It's funny how things work out that way. Maybe it helps that I was raised by different kinds of parents. I don't know, but we're getting into TMI territory there. Something that I'm not fully comfortable with discussing. And for those of you that watched the previous part in the little Ski Kid section and you might have caught me saying something, you're gonna have to brush that away from memory, because I ain't elaborating on it. But anyway, TV Tower, we get to see the tank again for the last time. I know, we get introduced to it in Inspector's Factory, which was the last level. We got to dabble with it a little bit. Here, not so much. Now, the only reason I showed off this Spectre coin is because it was in the same general vicinity as a monkey. And as I said, you have to capture every single monkey, or ape, whatever you want to call them, in order to get to the true ending. And for this commentary, I would like to at least show off the true ending of a game in most cases. If there's an exception, I can't really think of any. I do like to show off the entirety of a story of a game in a commentary if it doesn't drag it out to a ridiculous degree. Because I do want to have a good pacing, a small quantity of parts for each commentary, so that it is very easy to digest for people. I might have said this in this commentary, but this is just my general rule of thumb, you see. Because too many times I see other people that do Let's Plays or commentaries, and it's usually too many parts for their own good. And you see every part have less and less views, and then you'll get to the last part and you'll see a sudden jump in views and you're like, oh well, apparently a lot of people will just watch the first part or two and then skip right to the end. Especially if it's a longer one. Like say 20 plus parts. Or actually a better example might be 50 plus, because right now in the commentary backlog, the longest project is like 28 parts. And it is an RPG. So while 28 is very massive by my standards, it's actually a lot less than it could have been for that particular game that I've decided to do commentary on. And no, I'm not going to reveal what game it is, because we're talking about something that may not be released for a year plus. Gotta keep people in suspense and surprise and whatnot. Hell, we don't even know when this part might be going up. It might be going up in April 2020. It might be going in October of 2027 for all we know. Wouldn't that be something though? The only way that would happen is if I literally forgot. So, anyways, all that out of the way, here's a little out of the way section of TV Tower that you don't have to, I don't think you have to visit here to get to the boss of TV Tower, but you do have to come here to capture all of the monkeys. Also, a very nice way to get some explosive pellets there, even though I'm pretty sure that was completely lucky and or random. Also, I randomly replaced the monkey net with the slingback shooter. The reason for this is because you actually need the RC card to operate the mechanism, the lift, that's right in front of a gigantic fan. And you see, the gigantic fan likes to push you away slowly at first, but the lower you go, the faster the air gets, and it will much more easily push you off of the lift. What you want to do is go down just enough to capture, I think, at least 1 or 2 monkeys, depending on how many you caught before this. And by capturing a certain amount, you will unlock the ability to be able to go down more, go down further. And you'll be able to, there's basically like a somewhat hidden mechanism around here that will slow down the speed at which the fan blows. Apparently you need to catch 2 monkeys off of here. Use the RC car to put it on the edge of where the button is so that you can easily move it in and out so that it can be on and off of the button. And mind you, you do have a limited distance that you can go before you make more progress. Apparently you catch 2 monkeys and the pathway will open up. This is why I have the slingback shooter. I don't know if you need the explosive pellets to destroy the glass. I would imagine not, but let's see. Shoot the regular, okay, regular pellet does the work. Man, that must be some thin glass if a small wooden pellet is enough to destroy it in 1 hit. Not even 3, but 1. Anyways, behind the glass is another monkey for you to capture. More importantly though, if you push this button right here, That's the button that will slow down the fan further. Well, actually... Okay, you have to destroy those computers to slow down the fan. The button just helps you get out of that section. Right. Mind you, the fan is actually still going. It's just going so slowly that there is like 0 chance that it will push you off of the lift. So now, you can finish cleaning up all of the monkeys that are still left to find here. I think there's only 1 or 2 left, honestly. Of course, if you have a surplus of lives, you could probably chance just constantly falling down and capturing the monkey, but the gusts of air get so intense the lower you go that I don't think I've ever been able to capture all of the monkeys in this section without actually having to destroy the mechanism or the computers that operate the fan. So it is what it is there, and I probably could have done a jump cut here as well, but again, it is what it is. So I want to say that that's actually the last monkey of the TV tower. I don't know if I do another... Oh! This is a good time to bring something up. You have to push down the left stick to crouch, and you can keep it pressed down while moving to stay crouched, and you can start crawling. I know I'm very late to mention this, but hey, better late than never. But if you push down the left and the right stick, you will crouch, and then you will kind of huddle into a fetal position. I kid you not. And this will actually make you more hidden to other monkeys. At any rate, we finally reached the boss. And it's a whopper.
Oh, Spike.
Spike!
Professor, Natalie, I'm here. Don't worry, I'll get you out of here.
Oh, no, you don't. I still need them to help me, so they're not going anywhere. Ah! You're really starting to bug me.
I'll never cooperate with you, Spectre.
Yeah! And when we get out of here, you'll be sorry.
Take them away.
Yes.
Stop it! Let go of us! Hey, look at us! Snap out of it!
Let him go!
Now you really made me mad. It's time to get rid of you once and for all.
Okie dokie! Welcome to the second boss of Ape Escape. And we're, yes, quite late in the game, still, to start actually fighting bosses on a semi-regular basis. But it's assumed that if your mission is to catch Spectre, there's gonna be a twist. You've been conditioned for this by now. At any rate, this is Spectre's battleship. I don't know the exact name, we're just gonna call it Spectre's battleship. This fight is quite a bit deeper and more complex than Big Knight was in Crumbling Castle. There's actually a lot of different attacks you have to worry about. There are explosions to watch out for. You know, bursts of fire. He can also send out a bunch of small UFOs. Those are easily destroyed with your stun club. Since you don't have to capture anything, feel free to replace the net with another tool, such as the super hoop. Actually, if you have the super hoop, the stun club, the skyflyer, and the slingback shooter, that's really all you need. You don't need the RC car or the monkey net for this boss fight. Now that I think about it though, if you had the RC car for the Big Knight, I would imagine that fight could actually potentially be pretty hilarious. Consider using the RC car to hit the Knight's feet, and maybe that would stop the electrical charge or something. I don't know. That would have been something cool. But alas, that is not the case. So yes, I recommend spinning in place with the stun club to take care of the UFOs. As for the burst of fire, use the super hook to move quickly out of the way. Only time you can hurt the ship is when the green jewel is exposed. And if it's on the ground, feel free to use your stun club. If it's still in the air, like here, when the weakness gets exposed, this is what you use your suit. I hope you have a surplus of explosive pellets. There's also the homing pellets that are just a category below the explosive. By the way, you can swap through your slingback shooter ammunition by pushing down on the right stick while moving, not while crouching, we've established. And I will say this, it's random whenever the battleship starts going kaput in midair and exposes the weak spot. This can make for some very small differences in speedruns, because yes, it's quite random. It can happen after an attack, it can happen twice in a row. I don't know. Is this the last hit? Not quite. Alright, yeah, this thing actually takes a lot of hits. I want to say that a single explosive pellet is equal to a stun club hit. I feel like it might be slightly stronger though, I don't know. Just assume it's the same as a stun club. Alright, now it's actually destroyed. For real. Alright. Satisfying explosion.
Well done. I am impressed. I can't believe you made it this far.
That's right. I won't be beaten by you. Now return all my friends.
I'm not giving up that easily. I just had another brilliant thought. So I have to run now, but I'll see you later. You can be sure of that. See ya!
Hey, wait a minute. Where do you think you're going? Wait!
So yeah, where do we go from here? Well, only one level left, and it's an interesting idea for a final level. An interesting idea. I'm going to say that much. The execution, though, remains to be seen. So why don't we just go on over there?
Welcome back to the amusement park. I've been expecting you. But we're not here to have fun. This is all about payback. You've ruined my plans one too many times. You've captured some of my soldiers, and in return, I've decided to take your little friends. If you want them back, you'll have to play a simple game of hide and seek. You see, I've hidden the professor and Natalie somewhere in the park, and it's your job to find them before something terrible happens. The soldiers in the area are angry and ready for retaliation, and I won't be responsible for their actions. Take a look around. I fixed up the park just for you. Are you ready for the ride of your life?
That's right. We're going all the way to where Spectre, well, his home basically. Or at least was his home. It's the circus! Yay! Spectreland! It definitely wasn't always called Spectreland, and that's quite a case of appropriation there, but there it is. Anyways, Monkey Madness, Spectreland. There's a lot of different sections to explore here. And we're going to go to the circus first, because this is where we can rescue the first of Spike's friends.
Ah, Professor! Are you hurt?
No. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. How are you? Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Good. Well, I'm glad to see that you're all right. Oh, what a predicament I'm in. I need to get out of here and back to the lab. Do you think you can help me?
Sure, but how do I get in there?
The entrance is at the very top. You should be able to get in here from there.
All right, I'll be right there.
So there's actually 4 different sections that you can explore. Only 3 of them are mandatory, and 2 of them must be completed to unlock the 4th. We will visit the optional one later on. I decided to do the mandatory ones first, if I'm not mistaken. I think I do this and then I do another one after this. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, though, why don't we take a listen to this whimsical circus music track for a little bit? Again, it's just a testament to the amazing soundtrack of this game. And I've mentioned it before, I do think the soundtracks of the sequels are good as well. Even the 3rd one, which was done by the same composer, Ape Escape 3 soundtrack is second best, but, well, I just think that Soichi Terada did it the best with the first game, even on inferior, quote-unquote, hardware. Anyways, here's another kind of boss. I mean, I don't think this guy is as, like, complicated as the big... he's a little bit more in-depth than the Big Knight, but nowhere near as much as the Battleship. Man, they really, loaded the back half, or rather, the last, like, third of this game with a lot of boss fights. Anyways, I don't know the name of this enemy. He's just some random clown. He might be a robot. He might just be a regular clown. We don't know. At any rate, he'll be on a giant ball, and you have to destroy the balloons that are sent after you. Well, actually, you don't have to, but you do if you don't want to get hurt. And after you destroy the balloons, you get an opportunity to whack the clown on the head with your stun club, which I suggest you do. Spinning around in place is a pretty decent way of taking care of the balloons, but it's not guaranteed. Sometimes the hit detection can be just a little bit on the wonky side, as it were. And the more damage you do, the more balloons you'll actually have to swat away, as it were. And this guy takes a lot of abuse. I'm not even kidding. After a few hits, it's a good idea to use the Sky Flyer here to try and cushion the blow of the fall a tad. Just a bit, because, you know, why would you want to lose a health point for no reason? And yeah, the professor starts running around himself, because, yeah, you kind of bust into his prison here. Anyway, the Sky Flyer is a pretty good way to avoid the clown's last-ditch effort rolling attack, but at this point, he's only a few more hits to defeat. And once you do, well, you rescue the professor, of course.
Thanks for saving me. I'm so glad to see you, and glad to see you're safe. You've gotten stronger.
Thanks to your gadgets, Professor.
No, the gadgets don't contain any real power. It's all in how you were able to use them. The true power is inside of you, Spike. You've grown, you've learned a lot, and you've truly become stronger.
You think so? Thanks, Professor, but I don't feel any different.
By the way, Spike, have you been able to find Spectre yet?
No.
Okay, I'll go back to the lab and fix the equipment. If we don't hurry, Spectre may change history forever and destroy us all. I'm afraid there isn't much time though, Spike. Maybe you should continue to search for Spectre in the amusement park. It could be dangerous, so promise me that you'll be careful.
I will.
Alright, we've rescued the professor. See you guys in part 7.